G'day, this is Ghost Wolf, and today we are going to build an iron farm on survival. Now this is a cross between Nim's compact iron farm and Frilioth's version with the villagers standing in the corners. So let's start with what you're going to need, and for this build you will need a little less than 9 full stacks of your structural block. I'm using polished diorite because I think the white goes with that silver white colour of iron in the game, and it's pretty cheap and easy to come by. You will need 72 blocks that iron golems cannot spawn on. For the most part I'm using white stained glass, which was an expensive choice for me because I have a limited supply of bone meal. Fences will also work, but I'm not sure if golems are still glitching through slabs or if that bug has been fixed. If you want to use slabs, you may want to check the bug tracker. 4 light sources. These can be torches, though I realized when I was editing this that sea lanterns are absolutely a thing and definitely would have looked really good with this build, but at the time glowstone was what I thought of, so that's what you'll be seeing when I make this. You'll need at least 22 wooden doors or 44 doors if you wish to maintain symmetry on all 4 axes. I decided to use the full 40. If you use less than that, you will need to put slabs, fences, or glass in the spaces that don't have doors so that you don't get creepers and skeletons and zombies and whatnot. Doors are cheap, so it is probably simpler just to put doors all the way around. You'll need at least 2 buckets and access to an infinite water source. 4 will make things easier, and 10 is the maximum that you'll need. You'll also need 4 signs. Despite what the wiki says, do not use ladders. Ladders will burn on console and signs don't. 2 buckets of lava, 2 hoppers, and 2 chests. And the buckets that you use for your water and lava can be the same buckets, depending on how much running around you want to do while you're building this. So I've already picked a spot and I have dug out a trench that is 2 blocks wide, 1 block deep, and 10 blocks long. Starting at the back of your trench, place down 2 lines of 8 structural blocks, leaving that 2x2 area at the front free. Return to the back of your build and place 4 blocks behind here, and then extend these lines down 8 blocks, and this is the basis of your walls. Now build up another layer on top of these blocks that we've just placed. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Block off the front like so. And go all the way around again, which will leave you with a corridor that is 2 blocks wide and 3 blocks high. Now we can cap this off. So we want to cover the entire area with blocks. except for a 2x2 hole at the back of the corridor. So now we're going to build our first collection area. Start by placing blocks around your 2x2 hole, and this is the center of the first collection floor. You now want to extend this floor out by 4 rows in all 4 directions. So I'm just starting here at the back. And then adding the 4 rows at the front. You don't have to do it this way. This is just the bizarre, I can't count way that I did it. And so now we're going to extend out the left and right sides. Now, as you know, I play on console, and crouching on console is a bit of set and forget, and honestly, I think if I played on PC, I would be falling off of blocks all the time. Just all the time. When you're finished, you will have a platform that is 12 by 12, and it will be centered on that 2 by 2 block hole in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 will bring us to the center, and then onto the other side. So you'll notice that this is smaller than the 16 by 16 area that iron golems are able to spawn in. So when you are choosing a location for this build, you will need to take that into consideration, because if you have places next to the build that golems can spawn on, they will, and that will stop your farm from working until you kill them. Now we'll put a ring all the way around the outside of this collection area. And that wall needs to be 2 blocks high. So go all the way around. And then all the way around again. And that's not Dali walking around down there. Dali is still safely inside the woodland mansion. Although I've been thinking about getting him a friend called Drama. Now, starting in any corner, you want to build out 3 blocks like this. 1, 2, and 3 to make a mini platform, which is where your villagers are going to stand. And so continue along the top of the wall, raising it up by a 3rd block and adding these platforms to all 4 corners. Alternatively, you can have the villagers just on 2 corners diagonally opposite each other, but I think the build looks a bit nicer when you have all 4 pods for your villagers. And so you can see that we've gone through 2/3 of our diorite already, but we have done pretty much 2/3 of the structure. Now you want to build up your pods by 1 more block. So this block on the outer corner is where villagers will stand. So you want to put walls on these 4 sides. And I like to put a block in the corner. Now you can build all the way around the floor if you prefer, but I think that it makes the design look a little heavy. But the number of blocks is not really a factor. You could quite easily add those extra corner walls. Now it's time to place the doors. If you're using all 40 doors, then just place one on every wall block between the pods. If you're using less, you will need to arrange them so that it is symmetrical on at least 1 diagonal axis. So can arrange your 22 doors diagonally opposite each other as well. But if they're not symmetrical, then the center of your farm may end up being in the wrong place, which can potentially allow the golems to spawn outside the farm, preventing your farm from working. But if you want to see how that works, you can check out Friliof's design. So we're going to build up those pods another block. And then by crouching or shift clicking, put blocks on top of these doors. And then by crouching again, you want to place a block against the door. Now see how it is a block lower than the ones we just placed? That's what we're looking for. We want to put this row of blocks against the top half of the doors. And now we're going to build our second collection floor, remembering to leave the center 4 blocks open for the golems to fall down. And that is the collection floor finished. So go around now and finish this wall running along the tops of the doors. And don't do what I just did and forget to build the walls of the pod up to the same height. And I'm amazed that I haven't actually fallen off yet. Like, that's astounding to me. I am very uncoordinated and I fully expected to fall off this build at least once. And finally, we're going to cap this wall with our non-spawning blocks, in this case, glass. You can make this build underground, but do remember that the golems are 3 blocks high, so you will need to allow enough room for them to spawn in, and you will need to make sure that there are no spawnable blocks within an 8-block radius of the center other than your collection floors, if that makes any sense. And now that we've built the structure, except for the pods, it's time to get back to the ground without dying and build the grinder to kill the golems and to collect their drops. Now I've prettied out the outside just a tiny bit, and I've put some fences along the top where the grinder sticks out rather than using glass. But you can use whichever non-spawnable block you want. Just don't forget to cover that up. So with your water buckets, you want to head up to the top of your build and you want to put water in each corner. Because of the compact size of this farm, you don't need to worry about having the water up one level higher, because on a 10 by 10 floor, it will flow right to the center without going over. So I'm just going to refill my buckets. I built this right next to an ocean. If you don't have access to a natural water source, then you can just dig a quick trench at the front of your build and make an infinite water source and then fill it in after you're done. But I'm not 100% sure which biome this particular farm falls under, but that watercolor is amazing. The warm bios, except for swamps, have just really stunning watercolors. I really like them. So next, we just do the same thing for our second collection floor and throw these buckets of water down. And I'm going to make one last run back to the ocean because I need 2 last buckets of water. So these buckets of water go at the back of this corridor here. Iron golems don't take any fall damage, so it doesn't actually make any difference if they fall into the water. So we can use that flow to push them into our lava blade. Now, at the very front, we want to place our 2 chests, and by crouching or shift clicking, we want to point these 2 hoppers into the chest. And I'm just going to throw this hopper in my hand into there, and as you can see, it's gone into the chest, so we know that the hoppers are pointing in the right direction. Next, you want to take your signs and you want to place them on the walls like so. And I'll just pause there for a moment so you can see where the signs go. These are going to hold the lava in place, so it doesn't matter what you have on them. That's why they're blank. Then grab your lava buckets and put them in the spaces you just created. One there and one there. Now, I need to finish my pods off because I completely derped out and forgot. But if you are smarter than me, then all you need to do is put some villagers into those pods to make that farm work. And if you come back next week on Tuesday, I'll be showing you a video of how I did exactly that. This has been Ghost Wolf, and if you've enjoyed this video, hit that like button so that I know. Cheers!